Okay, let's see, how can you guys see me? I feel like that's pretty good. Hopefully it is for you guys too. I feel like this has kind of been my spot for recording lately. I got Otis right here, Milo over there in the corner. Let me move my phone so it's not in our way or distracting. Oh my gosh. Hello guys. To be honest, I'm so nervous about filming this video. I feel like I've been meaning to film it after kind of different hiatuses from YouTube where I never was really gone, you know, it was just less consistent. And then the past, I think 3 weeks where I just wasn't really present here, I just felt like this message has been on my heart and I've been really wanting to share, but it feels really scary to open up about why I've actually been gone. And I went back and forth with thinking, first of all, like, who cares? First of all, who cares that I was even gone from YouTube? Who cares about the reason why I was gone? And who even cares about this message that I have to share? And to be honest, as I went through those thoughts, that's exactly why I'm creating this video today, those negative thought cycles and patterns, because yeah, maybe there are some people that don't care. Maybe there are some of you that didn't even notice. And you know, my message isn't the most important message in the whole world, but at the end of the day, if this video helps one singular person, then that makes everything about it worth it. Because today, I'm going to be talking about mental health. I do want to say that it's going to discuss all sorts of topics within mental health, including depression, anxiety, panic attacks, suicidal ideation, all of that different stuff. So that's triggering to you, then feel free to click out. I do not want this video to be a triggering place for people to be, but I just want to really openly discuss why I have been gone. And if you're new to me and this is the first time you've seen my channel, this is definitely a different video than what I usually share. I usually talk about nutrition, intuitive eating, food freedom, recovering from disordered eating or ED, and so this video is a little bit different. And this won't be what they're all like going forward either, but I just feel like I just need to talk about it. And can you even tell in the intro that I'm kind of like trying to finagle around it? Also, my friend Nicole, she always says that that's like my theme song. I go do 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 do. Not sure why I do that. I think it's a nervous tick. Also, I think let's get closer when we actually start this up. What do you think? Yeah, okay. So let's talk a little bit about mental health and why I was gone. It's like, where do you even start, you know? I have struggled with my mental health for honestly as long as I can remember, but the most challenging parts of my mental health started around when I was in 6th grade. I would say, like, when I really started to even realize what that is and what it meant for me. Okay, deep breath. I think it's just scary to talk about mental health to a platform or even one person, because I think what I was talking to my therapist about is that mental health doesn't always feel as real when you keep it in and you're the only one that knows about it. Like, when you share with other people, it makes it feel so much more real, like that you actually struggle and that there is a sense of accountability and acknowledgement for what you're going through. And I think that's really scary. I know a lot of you guys have struggled with EDs, and I'm sure mental health, because EDs are a mental health disorder. And I think the scariest part is when you first admit that to someone else. And I've processed that with my ED, but I feel like I've never processed that with some of the other issues that I've gone through. And in recent months, as I've really gone through some self-discovery and figuring myself out, that's what's been coming up. So as I was trying to say, in 6th grade is when I really started to struggle with my mental health. I struggled with being bullied, and I was very lucky. It wasn't extreme bullying, but just the type of bullying from girls where you're made fun of a lot, where things are made up about you, where you don't always really fit in. And that was the first time when I started to have extreme anxiety, panic attacks, and I also struggled with some suicidal ideation. And a lot of the time, people talk about the fact that that's really, that the thought of that and wanting to not exist is selfish. And so I think my whole life I went thinking about how I could never tell anybody because that's so selfish, you know? How could you affect your friends and your family and people that know you by telling them? Because how could you do that to someone? And that's something I've been trying to work through as of recently. Because ever since that time, I've gone through many cycles of the anxiety and depression spectrum. And I'm a lot more comfortable with anxiety. I dealt with that at its peak when I was in college. And I was having seizure-like panic attacks, and I was hospitalized, and they couldn't find what was wrong, and it was really debilitating. It really took over my life. I was having them every day, multiple times a day. But even that feels more comfortable to me than depression, because in anxiety, you have movement, you have productivity, you have things that you're able to do. Sorry, also I'm grabbing my cat's feet, he's on his back. But in depression, you feel like you have nothing. You have so much stillness, and it's hard to do anything, to wash your hair, to get out of bed every morning, to look at yourself in the mirror and who you feel like you are, but also who you feel like you're completely not. And I feel like for a while, a lot of those times, those things will go away, you know, and I would struggle less. And many of you guys know that a few months ago, I was diagnosed with chronic Epstein-Barr and high mercury levels. Right after that, I got diagnosed with patellar tendonitis and then chondromalacia patella in my knees. And then I also had some childhood trauma that was like a suppressed memory come back to me within this time that was just very, very overwhelming. And it's not something I really feel comfortable going into right now. And it's not like it would really affect anything I share on here, but it was really hard to mentally try to deal with all of these things at once when I felt like I could do absolutely nothing. Like I was just so stuck, you know? And deep breaths, I just keep reminding myself, deep breaths. And something that's been hard for me my whole life is being able to be honest with other people and share how I'm really feeling, because I'm really comfortable thinking about, okay, this is happening because of this, and oh yeah, it totally makes sense, and no, logically, I don't deserve to be upset in my life. I have such a great life. I'm so happy. I love my job. I love my community. I love the people in my life. I love my partner. I love my family. But the crappy thing about depression, as someone said, as I was reading, is that, you know, depression doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always follow the guidelines that you want. A lot of the time when you deal with depression, it's like you feel like everything is going well, and yet inside you still feel so broken and you don't understand why And then the anxiety tells you how stupid it is that that's a thing. And they just battle against each other in your head over and over and over and over again. Oh, and it's hard, that negative self-talk cycle, that depressive cycle. And so for the past few months, coupled with just a lot of changes in my life and a lot of work in my business and just feeling really sick and trying to just work through a lot of things, I was just struggling a lot. I was struggling a lot to see like how, you know, how do you go forward? Like how do you get comfortable with the idea of the feeling of feeling like you may never be happy? But more than anything, I think the hardest thing for me, which I don't know if anybody here relates to, is just I feel like when I go through life, everybody just tolerates me and I'm constantly just hurting people and I'm just always letting people down. And so it feels hard to feel like I deserve to be in these people's lives I care about, which is such a privilege to have people that care about me and that are so understanding and that I know and listen to everything that I'm saying right now. But it's just like mental health, that voice, that negative voice doesn't always make it feel that way. You know, it doesn't always make it feel like it does make sense. It plays on your weaknesses and your low times. And when I thought about recording YouTube videos during this time, it just felt impossible because the number one thing that I value about how I try to show up on social media is being authentic. And I try to do this on my Instagram by being honest and by not presenting anything false and by sharing the real moments. But on YouTube, I just feel like you guys really see like the truest me, like the real me. Like I'm real in all things, but it's like we're talking, like you guys are my family, you're my sisters, you're my friends. And to show up and to be fake and just act like everything was okay when it was just so not okay, just didn't feel right. And I know it's not like I have this platform of hundreds of thousands of people, but it's just like, to me, it's so important. Like you guys are really important to me. Oh my gosh, I was trying not to cry. The thing is though, is the last thing I want to come across in this video is that that's how I feel all the time, because it's just not. This isn't how I feel all the time. And right now I feel really good. Right now I feel really happy and I feel really grateful, and I've been getting out of bed and I've been feeling motivated and I've been able to get things done. And I just don't want this to come across as me being ungrateful for everything that I have and for all of you, because I have never-ending gratitude for my life and for that. But I just wanted to be able to open up this conversation because I know that I'm not the only one that struggles with this. I know I'm not the only one that's questioned how to possibly go forward when things feel so tough. I know I'm not the only one that struggles with depression and struggles with anxiety and struggles with feeling like they just don't always fit quite right, or that people just have to deal with them. And it's so much harder to say when I think about saying this to myself, but I know saying it to you, and that means I know saying it to me, that the world would not be the same without you in it. And that people aren't just tolerating you, people love you, and that it does get better, and it always does. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, there's always a high at the end of a low, and usually the highest highs come right after the lowest lows. And so don't ever forget that. If you feel like this is you right now, struggling with something, whatever that is, that was mentioned, even if that's something completely different, I hope this video makes you feel less alone. I hope this video reminds you how important you are. I hope this video can help one person, because if it's one person, then that's enough to me. I don't think that I said all of this perfectly, and yet again, another thing I'm working on. There's no such thing as perfect. But I feel like I just really needed to get it off my chest, and so I really appreciate y'all for listening if you did. I wanted this video to be 9 minutes long, and it's 15, so didn't quite hit the mark there, but we all know I'm long-winded. And I think I'm just gonna upload it just how it is, to be honest. And going forward, I really want to be able to show up here for y'all as I'm feeling good and continue, just like I always have been, to be real, to be honest, to show you what my unfiltered life looks like. And that's always my goal, just to be here in whatever way I can. So thank you again. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna leave resources down below. If you are struggling, or someone you know is struggling with your mental health, or their mental health, I can't even express the importance of just supportive people and how they always get you through. But that can also be found through support from therapists, from a call line, from anybody. So, and support from me. Always feel free to message me, DM me, email me, all of the things. So, I think that's all. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Love you. Bye.